And I'm back.
Wow, it took me long enough, right? Again, sorry, I truly did not think they would take this long to drop the episode. Anyway, let's just get into this, cause wow, what an episode. Don't get me wrong, I actually enjoyed it for once. However, I think again, everything was way too fast and kinda easy. Like, why was Blitz getting coffee in the greed ring? I mean, yeah, time has gone by a bit, but you'd think he'd be a bit more worried about going back. I mean, the guy burned down Lululand and now has problems with Moxie's dad. Like, no, don't go back. Stop going back. And then the fight. Like, I'm not 100% sure if Blitz is the type to do that, since we barely know anything about him other than the vague history we keep getting. But that was a weird surprise, as I feel it was the only way Stryker was going to be able to notice them from the window. And wow, I did not think we'd be seeing Stryker and Crimson again, let alone in the same room. But it does make some sense. I mean, Stryker is an assassin, but like, Crimson has his own people he could send to kill Moxie, so it was weird he's looking for an outsource. Plus, I mean, he's broke, so why even hire someone you know you can't exactly pay? Either way, weird. Anyway, sorry, this is supposed to be about Fizz. Now, when I decided to redesign Fizzaroli, I didn't think we'd be getting a new outfit, so yeah, a lot of the outfit you're going to see is more focused around the OZZIE episode, since I thought this was his main outfit, considering the fact that the Robo-Fizzes even adopted the outfit. So here's a quick test outfit for this episode, but the rest of the video is just the OZZIE outfit, so sorry about that. And speaking of the OZZIE episode, I do feel it was a good intro for Fizzaroli. However, it didn't really give us much. But this episode, wow, actually gave us something. Like, Fizzaroli is a gem of a character. He's petty, dramatic, and chaotic, and a great opposite to Blitz. I very much enjoyed his reaction to being kidnapped and all the gore and danger. Like, it's really different from what we've seen from other imps. Like, a lot of them seem to have a primal sense for fighting, but not Fizz. He's clearly a show pony, and I wonder if the accident enhanced his fear. Anyway, though, I truly did enjoy Fizzaroli. I think he's a very interesting character, and I can't wait to see where this goes. Though I think my last issue, and it's not exactly an issue, but the big reveal on what exactly happened to Fizzaroli, I liked that we got to know, even though we all kind of knew it was Blitz who had something to do with it. But I don't know, it felt kind of fast, plus I feel like they forgave each other a little too quickly, But I don't know, it didn't hit as much as I had hoped, though now I'm curious, why were people keeping them away from each other? And though I'm not the biggest fan of OZZIE and Fizzaroli being in love, it was fun to see how they interact.
Anyway, enough about Fizzaroli's character in the new episode, so let's just move on to his overall design from the OZZIE episode, not this current episode, so bear with me on this one. So Fizzaroli's design truly confuses me, and though I love me an overly detailed character, but this one I cannot get behind. If y'all like it, great, but for me, I just can't. And what I find the most funny is I actually love the Robo-Fizz version. Yeah, it's still overly detailed, but honestly, that was never the problem. It's just the colors work so well. But yeah, Final Fizzaroli's design was a weird surprise since we got to see it before the episode even dropped, but the angle was weird, so we didn't get to see that much, plus the color was a little different. And to be honest, I think that's like my biggest hang up when it comes to his design. Like, yeah, the sleeves are a bit much and the cuffs don't really go with the rest of the outfit, but it's not bad for what it's supposed to be. It's just the colors. Like, I'm happy they're not the usual red and black, though pink is just red but lighter, and his arms and legs are black. But yeah, the suit's overall style is fine. It's mostly the colors. He's got about 8 colors on him, and that's, wow, a lot. Most of the time you want about like 3 colors, or at the very max 4. I think if the colors were simplified a bit, he wouldn't look so off. Or if they use them more evenly, because usually you want 1 accent color, but he clearly has 3, and they're only in 1 spot except for the blue, even though it's clearly supposed to be an accent color. It's kind of taken over the whole outfit. So yeah, I wouldn't really call the blue an accent color. Anyway, yeah, the colors are kind of off, but as for Fizz's body, I'm very confused. So we all basically know Fizzaroli was in some kind of accident and lost his arms and legs along with his skin turning white as well. So the parts that confused me were his face and tail. For a guy to lose all his limbs, how the heck did his tail survive? Or better yet, how did it not get any damage? And the new white mark on his tail does not count, because honestly the way it's drawn makes it look like a birthmark. Plus we know it was probably added last minute since Viv started drawing it after the episode, but either way his tail seems to have no damage whatsoever, similar to his face. And yes, I know his face being white is the damage, but if he was burned so bad he lost limbs, shouldn't his face be messed up too? Like, the new episode has left us to believe the red mark around his mouth beak is the only part of him that didn't get burnt, which is all kinds of crazy. Like, why not just make that part makeup? Though I would like to point out my fun headcanon, cause remember how I said I made redesigned Millie's fingers black due to headcanon that the black parts of their body are tougher? Well, maybe I was kind of onto something, seeing as how the black cheek marks on Fizz's face didn't get burnt or changed, so those sticking around is fine. Also, a small thing that caught me off guard was that before season 2 dropped and we saw the flashback, I seriously thought Fizzaroli's eyes and teeth were fake. Like, we have yet to see any imp color variation to this degree. Lime green sclera and blue teeth, there's no way he's not at least some kind of hybrid, because it's so unique. The only other imp we've seen with sclera that color is Striker, and it's pretty clear he's a hybrid, so it makes me wonder if Fizz is mixed with a greed citizen, which would be really funny irony for him to have ended up the way he did if the other parent was a jester skeleton. Either way, the surprise was there when it turned out not to be robotic eyes and fake teeth. Anyway, this is getting long, let's get to the redesign. So, to be clear, this is 100% his Ozzie outfit. You'll see his main outfit later, but because Fizz and Ozzie clearly have a work/life relationship, it's not too off that Fizzaroli's outfit is going to reflect that, which, off topic, sorry. I'll never understand how Fizz started working for Ozzie, cause we know that Fizz is pretty much a comedian, cause he's not exactly a red light district performer, so unless Fizz is like Amy Schumer and talks about his dick and sex the whole time, I don't see Ozzie going, ah, yes, let me have this very covered up jester perform at my sex club. Though honestly, Ozzie's club seriously feels like a dinner theater / open mic night kind of place than an actual sex club. But yeah, I don't really get how Fizz working at Ozzie's wasn't seen as weird from day one, because unless Fizz was just a guest appearance and only there to announce shows, then maybe I can get it. But like, I'm so confused with the level of fame Fizzaroli has. Like, he can't be that funny. The more I've been thinking about it, the more I realize that Fizzaroli's career makes like no sense whatsoever, and it just mind boggles me that his connection to Maman is not at the forefront. Like, I get it, Ozzie and Fizz have some kind of romantic relationship going on, but it's just like Fizzaroli should be way more connected to Maman due to his rising fame. The world building is seriously killing me, and the harder I think about it, the more confused I get, because again, what about Fizzaroli is so sexy that they made robo dolls of him? Like I like jesters and clowns as much as the next person, but those things aren't exactly sexy, and that voice is just not doing it any favors. But anyway, this is kind of why I went in the reimagined route with redesigned Fizz's design, because like, I'm sorry Ozzie fans, but he is just not sexy. His voice, oh, 100%, yeah, but all this is just a no. So yeah, I based a lot of my design choices on my version of Osmodeus, because honestly I can't with OG Ozzie. Anyway, for Fizzaroli's outfit, I did the same as I did with reimagined Osmodeus and gave him a boob window. I like to think Fizz is completely white after the accident, and it makes him so much more exotic, because how rare is it to see any citizen that's completely white and not a bone jester? However, I do think though it would be fun for Fizzaroli to get all of hell guessing what he is, because due to his connections and status, it would seem weird for an imp to be this high up. Hence why his lust suit has more succubus features. I did also take off his tail, because again, there's no way it survived. Plus, now that it's gone, he can have any tail type he wants for any venue. So for Ozzie's, he has the typical heart-shaped succubus tail. The wings are fake, by the way, but do work, because you can't tell me they have Stretch Armstrong robo legs and arms, but no robotic wings? Come on, there's gotta be a lot of like really advanced tech here if they're able to make slinky arms and legs for Fizz. Speaking of his limbs, I changed the color. I made his upper arms gold and his legs white. The legs are mostly to give the illusion he's naked when he's really not. And no, I didn't cut his whole lower half off. I just moved the placement of his legs to his hips. Now, as for his outfit, I mostly just mixed reimagined Osmodeus' outfit, Fizz's kid outfit, and his main outfit into his lust suit. So I find it very cute Fizzaroli kept the puffballs on his jester hat, similar to when he was a kid, and had them on his horns. So after making that connection, I decided to keep that because originally I was just gonna make them into bells. But I did add the puffs from his child costume to his shoes instead of the hearts, since he's got enough hearts on the design. Now I did take away both neck things, mostly because one, we couldn't see Fizzaroli's neck, and a good chunk of the animation made it seem like his head was just floating there, and two, the black part was covering up his shoulder design, and honestly, with the hat and the two neck things, it's just really crowded, so I just did a simple open flare collar, feather shaped to match Osmodia's. I also just made his sleeve puffs one puff instead of two, and got rid of the suit cuff, which I'll never understand the reason behind that. I also put a heart button where his coat starts to separate, similar to this masterpiece. But obviously it's higher because it's mostly supposed to be a hint to their relationship. Kind of like couples rings, but like secret sexy couple rings. I seriously hope I'm making sense. Anyway, I also kept the lower back part of his costume and pretty much just fused it together with redesigned Osmodius's like bustle skirt thingy, but kind of reimagined it into a way of like feathers, if that makes sense. And as for the colors, as much as I would have loved to put Fizz in pink and gold and call it a day, he is a jester and his costume colors need to be loud and obnoxious, so I chose a brighter pink and a more like blueberry blast color, since Leth's true color is blue. And as you can see, I did go back and recolor Ozzy. I still prefer the pink version, but to be biblically accurate, I feel the blue works a little bit better. I feel like I can make it work in both ways. I just have to figure out how. Anyway, I also used the same gold color I used for Sexy Ozzy, as this suit is pretty much for him. But also, it's still Fizz's suit, so the color style I went with was half and half, another nod to Fizzaroli's split self and job. I mean, working for both Osmodius and Mammon while also having a relationship with one of them, and also being a celebrity that no one really knows anything about, cause headcanon time, he probably lies constantly about his life and his past, cause like, I can imagine, just like Barbie and Veronica, I'm sure Fizzaroli wants nothing to do with Blitz. So yeah, half and half colors, while also being flip-flopped. Also, side note, I did make him extra pretty, like again, his OG design isn't what I'd call sexy, and yeah, he's not technically supposed to be, but for him to work at Ozzy's, I'd expect some extra effort to match the rest of the staff, so I did give him glossy eyeshadow and longer lashes. Also, the pink at the end of his lips is makeup, as again, I find it super weird that that part of his face is the only part that didn't get burnt. Hi, editor Brittany here. I wrote most of this part of the script before the episode dropped, and seeing the new outfit they've put Fizzaroli in, I just gotta say, he looks like a twink version of Santa Claus, or I guess like another fucking candy cane. This has happened twice now, and it's weird that this happened. Do you guys remember the Gabriel video? Remember how much he looked like a fucking candy cane? But like, what is this outfit? Like, I like the bottom of the coat. Shocker, since I drew his Lust suit with a similar back, but man, again, the colors make my brain itch in a bad way. Like, it's not even just the colors, it's the constant use of pinstripes. Like, there are other patterns besides pinstripes, especially with clowns and gestures. Like, anyway, the overuse of pinstripe is honestly very irritating because, again, there are so many patterns, so many details, so many things to use when it comes to gestures and clowns costumes. This is like my steampunk rant all over again. Like, there are multiple ways you could have done this, and you deliberately choose to keep doing pinstripes. Anyway, though, editor Brittany out. Anyway, I also added mint green as accent colors since this amount of gold can't be considered that. Plus, it keeps him tied to Greed, his true home. As for his eyes, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I really wanted to give him robotic eyes, you know, go full cyborg, but I'm still not sure, so I've kind of settled on this like yellowish minty green color. Again, another nod to Greed. You know, at this point, I fully believe that Fizzaroli is like a descendant of a hybrid. I don't think he is like a full hybrid, if that makes sense. You know, like he's third or fourth generation hybrid family child. And now the jester hat. That was super hard since a lot of y'all kept picking the C hat, which I knew was gonna get in the way of the wings, so I kind of fused B and C together to give the illusion he still has horns, though it still does flop around, just not as much. However, I should point out that jesters and clowns are not the same thing. I kept seeing people say Fizzaroli's C hat is more clown-like when clowns don't wear jester hats, because even though they both wear colorful clothing to exaggerate their characters, the key key difference between them is a clown is a performance artist who uses slapstick in a routine. A jester is an entertainer who jokes and mocks people and will improvise on the spot. A clown makes a fool of himself. A jester makes a fool of the audience. Because if a jester were to act like a clown, he wouldn't be considered a jester. The clown character and jester character are very split in their costumes, and the hat is usually the tell on what kind of comedy you would get from them. Also, fun fact, the jester hat was basically a uniform and a way to distract, as not only was their job to entertain, they were also the only ones allowed to add
levity
to medieval lives' heavy situations and diffuse heated conversations by injecting humor and wit. Beyond their entertaining talents like singing or playing instruments, medieval jesters also possessed a very important privilege not enjoyed by many: free speech, meaning they could deliver bad news and also talk freely about the monarchs, though not 100% freely. You know, like they couldn't just call the king a dick and then walk away. That's just not how that was going to be. But but based on all that information, we know that Fizz is very much a jester type performer, as we've seen and heard from the episodes. Like Fizzaroli makes it very clear his style of comedy is jester based, so he is not a clown. Like, he may have been one as a child, but not anymore. So yeah, there's some jester / clown history for you. Anyway, I love the Lust suit. It's so cute and matches just enough with Osmodia's. And now here's the main suit. It's more Greed inspired. Obviously, I'll do more once we get to see Maman and work from there. But for now, this is all I got. And if you're wondering why I added yellow, it's because greed is technically yellow biblically, and it mostly has to do with gold. But since money has changed, or well, American money, I can imagine the citizens are more likely to obsess over paper money than actual riches, because just like my Beelzebub video, I can see some of the sins not moving forward with the changes of their sins, and Maman is still probably only interested in jewels, gold, and diamonds, because I mean, if you look at his silhouette, he's clearly got a diamond pattern going on. But again, this might all change when Maman drops, and I make my own reimagined version of Maman, because at this point, I've kind of been mixing in my sins and world building for the rewrite. Like, it's still hell of a boss. Just the world building is more my own thing. So the rewrite is like a weird hybrid. Anyway, next video will be surprise! Lila from Miraculous Ladybug. It's been confirmed she now has the Butterfly Miraculous. And y'all know I love a good villain. So look out for that. Anyway, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Really helps out the channel and me. I hope you all have a super fantastic day. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!